I think I definitely have a style and sensibility. I have found that people can see my work and they will know that I did it. They'll say, "Oh, that's Elizabeth's work. I can tell," and they like the aesthetic of it and the sensibility of it. Right now what I'm doing is taking self-portraits for a call for submissions for an exhibition by the name of The Invisible Age. It's an exhibition that's being curated by two women from California, and their theory is that there is an invisible age between age 50 and 65, an age in which women become virtually invisible. I've decided to photograph my neck because the neck is the first place where signs of aging start to show, and also the neck in terms of the voice, the chakra, the throat, the neck, losing your voice, losing your communication with the rest of the world. So there are all of these things that are intertwined while I'm doing this. Self-portraiture has been my primary subject for about 20 years. I think shooting, whether it's nude or whether it's not nude, there are challenges because you don't always know what you're going to get. And I think that for me is an element of part of the reason that I enjoy it, because there is surprise, but if you approach it with meaning, and if you're working on a body of work and you want to communicate a certain emotion, you can get yourself, it's acting, it's performance art, really, that's what it is. And it's therapy too. Using film is what I do. I have a digital camera and I still do not take it seriously for some reason. I just can't do my serious work with digital. I do use film and will use film as long as it's available. And it is getting very scarce. It's getting hard to find. The camera that I'm using is 2 1/4. It's medium format. It's a Yashica matte, which is a very old camera, twin lens reflex, which I have used for many, many years for my self-portraits. I do have a Hasselblad, but I do prefer the Yashica matte, and it's an old friend. Each body of work is begun in a various way. For example, one body of work is called Lifelines, and that was created, I had photographed my hand holding a piece of coral on the beach. And when I developed it and looked at it, I looked at my hands and this piece of coral, and I thought, my hands are aging and are very much like this piece of coral, the lines and everything in it. And so then I started to think about all the lifelines in the world and the environment around us. So that was the impetus for that body of work, Lifelines. An Hour of the Wolf is a body of work about nightmares. And that's a combination of self-portraits and other images in sequence to create small, short narratives, and that is primarily how I work. Extinct is a body of work about an animal rights organization, and I was trying to create a visceral connection between those people and the environment. So I photographed them nude in the environment to create that feeling. Termina is about the dwindling family tree, specifically my branch. My great-grandmother had 6 kids, my grandmother had 3, my mother had 2, and I have none. So under these grids in the column of self-portraits, there will be a family tree, which it will show it dwindling to nothing, and then there'll just be a line. And so I think it's quite poignant, and it's making me feel much closer to my ancestors. One of the works that I'm particularly proud of is called Filigree, and that's a photograph of my hands holding a dragonfly. And the dragonfly was actually alive when I photographed it. It was dying, but it was alive when I photographed it. And I always feel that I made it immortal by photographing it there. And it's been a very popular image as well. People have responded well to it. Is in collections and museums. Photography is my passion. There's always a sense of exploration. There's always a sense of something new and something exciting, something that you didn't count on. You're really just discovering something every day. Everything you photograph, you discover it. You look at it, you photograph it, you're discovering it while you're photographing it. You look at it in your film and in your print, and you discover something else about it even then, and it just continues. I know that people respond very well to my work. I've had people come to my shows, they'll look at the work, they'll love it, they'll go away, and then 5 years later they'll call me and they'll say, you know, that image that was in that show, I just cannot get it out of my mind. It's just haunted me for all of these years. I have to have it. And so that to me is really fulfilling. I think that's really wonderful when that happens, because they get it. And it's layered and it's deep, and they appreciate that.